kind of reflecting on what just happened at work today. We did a team building exercise that a couple of us have been kind of pushing our boss to do, and thought it would be a great way of releasing some tension, a lot of frustration. Today we went and had brunch at a local restaurant. I'm cracking up because we've been asking to do this, go to a rage room to blow off some steam. I've got to say, it was pretty therapeutic. A little bit of an interesting experience, especially with my coworkers. I think that would be something I wouldn't mind doing actually on my personal time versus at work, but for the first go at it, I think I did pretty well. I definitely got to smash the shit out of a TV and throw some glass bottles up against a wall and play with a sledgehammer and a metal pipe. So I find it kind of funny. It's been a kind of a joke for quite some time, but the fact that I actually got to experience that today, um, I don't really know the words for it, but except it was just pretty therapeutic. Um, Especially it was a little interesting to see all the different reactions, or like how people were handling it on the team. Were some people lighthearted and just, kind of dancing around, having some fun, and then there was some others that were definitely you could tell was blowing off some steam. So it's all in good fun. I wouldn't mind going back again, like I said, and just trying it out on a personal time and not necessarily feeling, the pressure from coworkers and all that. Like, it's just a different type of setting, but pretty funny. What a week. It's only Tuesday. Yeah, so I was able to talk to my boss this morning and gain some feedback on the website and the graphics that I had created for some of our landing pages. And I'm excited and happy to know that the banners that I had created and just the imagery that's going to go in, like within the pages, I added some graphic elements to it. It sounds like she and also the executive team is very happy with the direction that we're taking, which is great because this entire process has been extremely nerve-wracking with the rebrand, and a huge piece of the puzzle is updating our website. I mean, that's a huge project in itself. So those two things that are running simultaneously, it makes me feel good that I'm getting some positive feedback, because I'm not going to lie, like going through this transition and being at a place that's pretty conservative, even though we want to start to target, a different younger demographic. It's definitely been a challenge to, I guess, persuade or show the way, I guess, for people that, have been in the business a long time and trying to shift their mindset, to something that, changing the look and feel of our corporation. It's kind of a big deal, and it's just very nerve-wracking because I want to make sure what I'm doing makes sense and, actually follows along with the direction that we want to take. And it's scary. It's definitely a very scary process to be a part of. And my boss is very much leaning on me to be, like the person in charge, I guess. Even though she's in charge, she's leaning on me to make these enhancements and, make a lot of recommendations. And so, on one hand, that's great to be involved in, to be on the forefront of that, but it's also pretty nerve-wracking when you don't really have, I have a direction and a vision that I want, but the difference is I've been in this industry for almost 15 years, and the place that I worked at for over 10 years, I was the sole designer. So for me, it was easier for me to create a brand and revamp our image because it was me. It was my style, my hand in it. And the difference is here we work with an outside agency, and then we have a website developer that is putting together, like, obviously the structure and how our website functions. So there's a lot of hands in this piece of the puzzle, right? And there's someone writing content for us, and my boss and I are really kind of leaning on each other. My boss obviously has the final say in everything, but it's just, today felt really great and reassuring that what I'm doing and my contribution and how I'm leading as far as layout and design and everything goes. It just felt really great to have recognition, and just that, like I said, affirmation or confirmation that I just needed, because not gonna lie, like a week or two ago, I was really having a hard time and struggling because I know what I think we should do, but just because it's what I think doesn't mean that it necessarily is the right thing to do, if that makes sense. And I think the biggest challenge as far as being an artist or a designer or whatever, like, stage, if maybe even someone that, like, if somebody who's watching is like an illustrator or does other types of mediums, but the thing is, it's like once whatever you put out there is in the universe, it's like when others see it, it's a subjective, right? We can think, and the colors we choose and the layout and the design, the composition, all that, like, everything plays a factor into it. And once others look at it, it's like people have opinions, and, is this right? Is this wrong? Is it, like, everyone has an opinion. So it's very scary because ultimately at the end of the day, I want to do a great job. And like I said, it was just, I needed that little boost of confidence because, the way that the project has kind of been unfolding, there's been a lot of tug and pull with a lot of different hands in the projects and what we think should happen and all that. So seeing it come to fruition a little bit more, this week I'm going to be doing a lot more graphics. And now that I know that I'm going in the direction that my boss was hoping for, that just made me feel so much better on what I'm doing. So more to come on that. And we're supposed to be launching the site. We plan to launch it at the beginning of May. There might be some wiggle room where it gets pushed back a little bit, but the end goal is in about 5 weeks we should have this completed, hopefully. And if there's like multiple phases with it and we make tweaks to the content or the way something's worded or swapping out some graphics that we don't necessarily like, not a big deal. That can happen after the fact. And those will just be more of like personal preferences, I'm sure, like within the group and whoever is working, on delivering the project, which I know a lot of it's going to fall in my court. So it just felt great to get that this morning. And then we had our team building this afternoon, and it was just nice because my boss actually had given me compliments to the team and shared, her expression of gratitude of all the work that not only myself, but all the team members have been contributing to. It's been very busy, very hectic, but I know once these projects start to launch and start aligning with other touch points and things that I'm going to have to create, I'm just really looking forward to seeing how our brand really starts taking shape, because we were very outdated and appealing to an older demographic, and I'm just so excited to finally be at a place that I've been working at for 4 years now and finally seeing some of my touch, or like some of my personal touch, come to fruition. And it's so nice to hear that it's being well received and accepted, because like I said, it's very nerve-wracking to put a lot of kind of blood, sweat, and tears into the process, and hoping that things work out. I know there's still a lot to do, but that's okay. Just as long as I know that I feel like I'm heading in the right direction, and people are just on board with what we're doing and making changes, and ultimately it's for the greater good of the organization. And so that makes me kind of give me a little relief and having a sigh of relief over it today. I needed that. And then to cut loose out of the office was like a bigger bonus for me. More to come, and I'm hoping that gets wrapped up and launched, and just people are as excited as we are as we finalize the final website. And then hopefully I can move on to more projects with our rebrand and really start tying in everything, and like print materials or digital or signage and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of things I'll be working on. I know things take time. But yeah, this has been a long time in the making, not just the website, but this rebrand. We started, oh my gosh, it's been minimum a year to a year and a half. So finally that things are kicking off, and I've ordered some of the pieces so far that I've designed, and it just really made my heart happy to see, again, my personal touch on things and my designs to come to fruition. So yeah, today is definitely a day to celebrate something positive.